Marvin from Dunwoody feels stuck because he's got a home under contract. He finds out during the home inspection that it needs a new roof. And he says the seller's willing to pay for it, but doesn't want to do it prior to closing. Can we get an allowance at closing for the cost? Now, Marvin is actually financing the home, so he's putting 20% down. He's getting an 80% mortgage. By the way, he told me his interest rate was like 2.75%, which is amazing for a 30-year fixed interest rate. And so the issue is that Marvin is not going to be able to get an allowance directly from the seller at closing for the amount of the roof, because in most cases, conventional lenders, FHA lenders, although FHA and VA tend to be a little more lenient and allow a little bit more of an allowance, but they won't allow a seller just to give money to a buyer because they consider that an inducement. How do they know that the seller's not just giving Marvin $7,000 or $8,000 or $10,000 just to encourage Marvin to move forward with the purchase, and Marvin will never put a new roof on the house? Now, there's two other ways, though, you can work through it that are respectful to the lender's requirement that any payments from the seller to buyer or buyer to seller be disclosed on the settlement statement. They just don't want you hiding things. And also that lenders don't want the realty allowances to be much more than $2,500. And so what you can do is, Marvin, if the seller is not contributing to any of your closing costs, and let's say your new roof is going to cost $10,000, the seller could contribute $10,000 towards your closing costs. That would leave you bringing exactly $10,000 less to closing, and that would put you in a position where you have $10,000 more left over after closing than before. You can use the $10,000 for the new roof. Now, another option, if that does not work because maybe you've already gotten close to 3% closing cost or something like that, and you don't have any more room, that can be common, then check with the lender and see if the lender will allow on the settlement statement the seller to write a check directly to the roof vendor of your choice. So you get somebody out there, you get an estimate, it's somebody you know and trust. Then the closing attorney can write the check for the roof to the roof vendor directly, not to you. And then more than likely the closing attorney can hold it. And as soon as the roof has been installed, the closing attorney can release that check. Sometimes, if your real estate agent has a good enough relationship with the closing attorney, they can convince the closing attorney to let you, as the buyer, actually have the check so that you would have it to pay for the roof as soon as the roof was installed.